This is iFIBER 1 News. Here are today's top stories.
A partnership between two local hospitals appears to be on the horizon in the Upper Columbia Basin.
Saying Washington State has a wildfire crisis, Public Lands Commissioner Hillary Franz unveiled strategies to better fight the growing problem. About 200 gathered Friday on the Legislative Building steps in Olympia to rally for gun rights.
Legislators for Washington got down to the first week of business in Olympia and the second week in D.C.
From the iFIBER 1 newsroom, this is iFIBER 1 News. And it starts now.
A partnership between two local hospitals appears to be on the horizon in the Upper Columbia Basin. After months of exploring the possibility of a partnership, the Quincy Valley Medical Center has reached a tentative agreement to partner with Samaritan Hospital in Moses Lake. iFIBER 1 News spoke with Samaritan CEO Teresa Sullivan about the relationship between the two parties on Friday.
What do the two parties see as a mutual benefit in the partnership?
Well, I think a couple of things. We are both public hospital districts, so we have sort of a common mission to the area. We already have some people that are in both locations, right? There's people that live in Quincy and get some services in Quincy, and they come to other services here at Samaritan. So we feel like that's a good thing for us to be able to serve the people together.
Sullivan says the deal is unofficial right now, but the possibility of a definitive agreement looks promising. Sullivan says Quincy Valley Medical Center's bumpy financial background was not a deterrent as Quincy Valley Medical CEO Glenda Bishop continues to turn things around.
The two organizations will remain separate, so Quincy's financials will be Quincy's financials and Samaritan's financials will be Samaritan's. Just like because we're public hospital districts, the taxpayer dollars remain separate. At the same time, I think the goal is to be able to help Quincy improve that financial bottom line by being able to add some services there.
Sullivan says Samaritan would like to have a number of its physicians working at the Quincy Area Hospital and add some administrative services for the purpose of creating greater accessibility when it comes to care. Samaritan hopes to make the partnership official by the end of the first quarter. I'm Sean Goggins for iFIBER 1 News.
This segment is brought to you by...
Change doesn't have to be complicated. With a low-profile microwave hood combination that's ready to install right out of the box. It fits in the same space as your under-cabinet hood, so you can get your microwave off the countertop and make space for the routines worth keeping. The low-profile microwave hood combination, from the #1 selling appliance brand in the USA.
Whirlpool Appliances, now available at More Furniture in Ephrata.
Saying Washington State has a wildfire crisis, Public Lands Commissioner Hillary Franz unveiled strategies to better fight the growing problem. Franz conducted a news conference on Thursday at the Department of Natural Resources offices in Olympia to outline her strategies that included adding 70 more full-time and seasonal firefighters and using more firefighting aircrafts. To justify new strategies, she held up a DNR Christmas card from 1957 that talks about fighting 600 acres of wildland fires in the state.
Contrast that with where we are today. In 2018, 440,000 acres burned in our state. And the Department of Natural Resources, the state's largest wildfire fighting team, responded to more than 1,850 wildfires, the most ever in Washington State's history. 40% of these fires were west of the Cascades, a whole new phenomenon we had not seen before. According to a recent study, more than 2.2 million homes in Washington State are wildfire exposed.
Franz and firefighting agencies across Washington have developed a state wildland fire protection 10-year strategic plan. Franz is also asking state lawmakers for $55 million more in funding to fight wildfires. She talks about the new strategy's goals.
This plan calls for urgent transformative change in how our state manages wildfire. It lays out 40 strategies across 4 key goals. 1, ensuring our preparedness and response systems are fully capable, integrated, and sustainable. 2, ensuring our landscapes are resilient. 3, ensuring our communities are prepared and adapted. And 4, ensuring our wildfire response is safe, efficient, and effective.
Franz says smoke from wildfires was so bad last summer that at one point the state had the worst air quality in the world. I'm Jeff Chu for iFIBER 1 News.
This segment is brought to you by
Your taste buds bored? Well, then bring them to Jay's Teriyaki. Not only does Jay's have a variety of teriyaki dishes, they also offer mouth-watering salads and sides. Call Jay's 509-764-5155. Jay's Teriyaki, located at 123 East Broadway in Moses Lake, because it's all in the sauce.
About 200 gathered Friday on the legislative building steps in Olympia to rally for gun rights. The state capitol event was organized by the Gun Rights Coalition. Many were armed at the rally, which is allowed under state law. The overwhelming voter passage of Initiative 1639 in November was still fresh on the minds of gun owners in attendance. They included State Representative Jim Walsh, an Aberdeen Republican, who wasn't shy about stating how he felt about the measure that voters passed by nearly 60%.
1639 is a terrible piece of public policy. It's unconstitutional, it's illegal, and I trust the courts. I think the courts will eventually sort out the problems in 1639. And we, for now, the courts are our best avenue to get justice done and this bad initiative overturned.
The initiative implements restrictions on the purchase and ownership of firearms, including raising the minimum age to purchase a gun to 21, adding background checks, increasing waiting periods, and enacting storage requirements. Speakers representing the Gun Rights Coalition urged those attending to visit their lawmakers at the state capitol and urge them to support Second Amendment rights. I'm Jeff Chu for iFIBER 1 News.
Legislators for Washington got down to the first week of business in Olympia and the second week in D.C. From the 13th District, Representative Tom Dent got assigned to committees on transportation, human services, agriculture, and natural resources. Brand new Representative Alex Ibarra took his oath of office to replace Matt Manwiller and got down to business on the Appropriations, Civil Rights, and Consumer Protection and Business Committees. In the Senate, Judy Warnick serves on bodies working on agriculture, housing affordability, and ways and means. 12th District players got their assignments too. Freshman Representative Keith Gaynor will join the local government, transportation, and tribal relations committees, while Mike Steele takes ranking minority positions on the education and capital budget panels. Senator Brad Hawkins likewise gets a ranking post on the Early Learning and K-12 Education Committee. Aside from earning spots on education and labor and agriculture, 8th District Congresswoman Kim Schreier garnered a lot of media attention. She appeared in a Now This video on scientists newly elected to Congress,
representing Washington's 8th District,
and got profiled in a photo spread for Politico on women lawmakers. Senator Patty Murray spent much of the week arguing against the government shutdown and against S-109, a Senate measure to permanently ban tax funding for abortion services. That bill, which was largely symbolic, failed to advance. Finally, 4th District Congressman Dan Newhouse took a potshot at Speaker Nancy Pelosi for asking President Donald Trump to delay his State of the Union speech. Democrats are more interested in playing political games, he said on Facebook, than in serious negotiation when the country needs bipartisan compromise. Jefferson Robbins, iFIBER 1 News.
This is iFIBER 1 News. For more information on these stories and other news, visit us online at iFiber1.com or check us out on Facebook.